This plant here is Alkanet, or specifically green Alkanet. Green Alkanet is in the borage family. In fact, I shouldn't even be touching it because it gives you quite a nasty rash. Well, not a rash, it gives you quite nasty irritation because it has similar spines to nettles, but they don't have the same toxin in them. An Alkanet is classed as a very, well, not very, but quite an invasive weed. And there's a very sensible reason for that, and that is because Alkanet, just pull this up, has a very deep taproot. This is a much younger plant, so this taproot's only tiny, so it doesn't really actually represent this plant very much. However, this plant right here, which you can't see because I've tried to cut it back several times, has a taproot that'll be about 10 times the length of this. And if you leave even a tiny bit of this taproot in the ground, well, it'll just come and keep growing back. Alkanet is similar to comfrey, and you might think, oh, that's good, you can compost it. However, it's much slower growing than comfrey, so you won't get the same amount of, biomass to compost or turn into fertiliser as comfrey. And it just doesn't even produce the same amount of biomass when it's fully grown anyway as comfrey does. It also self-seeds readily, as we can see with this relatively young plant, and sometimes, not all the time, has spines on it that can give you a rash. This one seems to be a bit less spiny and more just furry. However, you can use Alkanet as a feed, but it's nowhere near as good as comfrey would be for feeding the garden.